Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to do an analysis of the Nature's Prophet game that got me to 9,000 MMR. Not kidding. Who knew this day would come? I'm ranked 70, and I'm 9K. Unbelievable. But before we get into it, I want to give a speech that I briefly gave on my stream. So I'm going to give about the same motivational speech. And it goes along these lines. So about 5 years ago, I had to tour colleges. So, you know, if you don't know what that is, basically it's a university in America. It's like, you know, advanced education. And at the time, I knew it's not what I wanted to do. I knew that's not the route I wanted to go down. I knew, you know, that's not where I wanted to be. I did it anyway for 2 years. But at that time when I was touring colleges, I was about 4K MMR. 4 or 5K MMR. I think it was like 4.3. And I remember going on this losing streak. It was about a 200 MMR losing streak. Now, you might be like, oh, Speed, that's not that much. But I was playing all the time, and I was only studying the game. I was putting in so much time into the game, right? It was all I cared about. That's it. That is it. That is the only thing I cared about. And I was losing MMR. I could not believe it. It created such despair in me because I didn't want to go to college at the time. I'm sure a lot of you guys resonate with that. You know, it's just not for everyone, and I didn't know what I wanted. Even college, if I went back now, maybe it'd be fine. The point is, I was really in despair. Now, 5 years later, I'm double that MMR, which is significantly more than 2 times better. I'm at least 100 times better than I am at that point. And the main message here, guys, is that you can't give up, right? No matter what you're doing, it doesn't matter if it's Dota, if it's engineering, computer science, I don't know, pursuing women. It doesn't matter what it is, you have to just keep going. There's gonna be so many bumps, man, where you really genuinely want to give up. Man, the amount of times, you know, I've always wanted to play Dota. Every day I'm like, I want to play Dota, but the amount of times I've been on a team that, you know, the players don't mesh. Like, I remember, this is gonna sound insane to you guys, but you know, I really care about this game, and I really cared about getting good for like, well, the majority of my later life now. I remember literally crying at some point because one of my teams just couldn't get along at all. And it was like the best team I had been up until that point. I'm like, man, I can't get any team to work. This team's just collapsing at the seams. I thought this was going to be the one that, you know, catapults me, gets my name out, you know, maybe we get some earnings. Just collapsed, man. It didn't work. And I'm just like, I can't believe it. I put in all this time and it's just a shit show. Nonetheless, thank you guys for supporting the channel, for, you know, essentially letting me live the life that I currently live. I know a lot of you guys don't know me on a personal level, but, you know, I'm able to make videos full time every day to, you know, support myself, and thank you. And yeah, let's get into the analysis. By the way, guys, if you want to become absolutely broken, well, what you need to do is sign up to the gameleap website down below right now. The reason why you should do that is because every single day we post a new video there. Content that you simply just will never get on YouTube, we post every single day to the website. It's really top tier stuff. I'm very proud of what I make over there. We also have other creators, many of my great friends who are top tier Dota players, creating guides about different heroes, different roles, different items, skill builds, talent builds, everything you need to know to get to the next rank. So if you feel a little bit lost, you're a little bit stuck, click the link down below. I'll see you guys there. And now let's get into the video. All right, let's get into the game. So, you know, we had to pick our Nature's Prophet for our 9K game. It felt only right, but I had to lane against Arteezy this game. No joke. It's kind of a cool way to, you know, get to 9K. I had to lane against Arteezy. Not gonna lie, he didn't make my game easy, but I also didn't make his game easy. So I'm gonna show you guys how I put a lot of pressure on Arteezy in this lane, even though I did end up dying a few times, and it wasn't my cleanest Nature's Prophet lane. PA is a hard counter pick to Prophet. It definitely makes the lane very difficult as she can close the gap, and she takes very little physical damage, which is all Prophet does. Either way, let's get into the lane. So I will admit, even starting off the lane, I kind of just play the way I usually do. I have my second set of treants here. Things are looking up. 3 seconds from now, I'm gonna have 4 treants. I can play the first wave with 4 treants. Often I'll get about 2 denies and 3 to 4 CS. This is exactly what I want. However, the thing is, PA treant is such a good lane at pressuring you early on into the wave. I tried to summon treants here to block out the PA, but my micro wasn't on point and I ended up going down. Thankfully, it isn't first blood, but you could see already the PA counter pick coming into play. The treant, just, it's so much slow, it's so much damage. And so, you know, now I knew I had to adjust. The only positive thing that came out of this, the reason why this wasn't that bad, especially because it wasn't first blood, was when I get gone on here, the range creep ends up dying, right? So our range creep gets aggroed onto like this because I think Shaman pulled aggro and they pulled aggro. So because the aggro was pulled in such a weird way, our range creep ends up dying here. And this hardcore pushes in the wave. Like also, our entire wave is in the grasp. And so the wave shoves in. And I end up dying, but honestly, it's for 165 gold and negligible XP. Not nothing, but, you know, definitely negligible. And so we were just fine. I was able to deny up a couple of Arteezy's creeps here. We actually got, I think he has like 2 CS right now. Yeah, like he has 2 CS after 2 waves. I mean, that's, you know, for someone like Arteezy, that is not a lot of CS. So wasn't too bad, honestly, could be worse. And this is why you got to keep your head in the game, guys. No matter how bad you think the lane is, often it's not nearly as bad as you think. Don't let your emotions get the best of you, please. Play out the lane, right? I could have been like, up GG, you know, Shaman's AFK, didn't shackle, whatever, I don't know. It's something stupid. All right, skipping ahead a bit in the lane, honestly, things sort of evened out at this point. However, the main problem with this lane is PA Prophet doesn't really ever get Prophet favored. For the reasons I talked about. She gets points in blur, she can always jump you no matter what the lane is looking like. You essentially can just never really man up the PA, unless your position 4 is like a clockwork and she goes off the wave, then like and commits blink trick, maybe you can. However, I was kind of blessed here. You know, this is the gods letting me get to AK, because Treant goes like wildly out of position. However, I had really good micro here. So I was able to move my Treants after I hit. Most bad players, what they do is they just leave their units. This applies to Beastmaster, Lycan, anything that has a lot of units. When you get on top of them with your units, once the stun is ending, or even let's say it's half over, you want to move your units in front. So I move them, I've kind of surrounded him with them, sort of by auto-attacking him, and then moving up with them. And that forces him to run to the left here, which allows us to get the kill. So really big return to kill here, super nice, gets me my boots. Also allows us to get off this side pole and pressure Arteezy a little bit here. But the biggest thing that honestly happened that was like really nice as a result of all this was I was able to keep the wave back and just hard deny it. You can see I like hardcore deny 2 full creeps. Once again, getting gone on. Oh, this was actually a good play. Man, this is such a good play. So, but this literally all stems from a habit I've developed over the last few months. And it's honestly so huge. So you'll see on my career, I just got delivered 3 tangos before dying at the 3-minute mark here. So these 3 tangos were extra tangos I purchased. Now, you usually will not see a lot of Prophet players do this, and the main reason why is if you ever drop low on this hero, especially if you have wand, you know, you can wand, and you can TP back to base, and then use your TP abilities back to lane, and that's the way you heal. However, this is what I call the sprout trick. It's a very basic trick. It's not hard to execute on at all, but literally as they go on me, which is why Dota is such a beautiful game, as they go on me, I hit my level 4, and because of that, I get my sprout. So as I get plopped into this nature's grasp, I very quickly double tap sprout. That kind of pushes them away, because even if they're on top of you, it will push them out, which is the beauty of double tapping sprout. It clicks them away. I instantly eat a tango, and that creates a small enough gap, especially with this Treant block, where Arteezy can't get in the 3 to 4 auto attacks he usually would have been able to get in there. He did still get off 2, and honestly, compared to most players, man, he was fast. Most people, when you do that sprout trick, take like a second or at least a half a second. He took like 0.2 seconds. Like, let's say I took 0.1, he took like 0.2. He was fat. He knew that was coming, or at least had it in his mind. But really nice shackle from the Shaman. Super good TP from the Quab. Really good awareness. So shout out Quab. But that doesn't happen. That play doesn't happen. They don't overextend if I don't get out those tangos and don't do the sprout play there. And after that, now that the PA is dead, I wanted to just shove in the lane as hard as I can so I wouldn't have to play a wave when the PA was coming back. So I basic TP back to base. After I shove out the wave, now I can regular TP back in, and our game is sort of recovered. On top of that, because of all the fighting that's going on, Arteezy's net worth is frankly not good. In fact, he had to spend so much on regen, and him dying there hurt him so much that he's actually lower net worth than me by 300, because this constant fighting, while I'm like consistently griefing creeps with Treants and yeah, basically just griefing creeps with Treants, is causing him to have really, really poor CS. Which definitely matters, because you can see the Drow, a hero that definitely doesn't last it nearly as easily as PA, is 7 CS up on him, which is quite huge. So at this point in the lane, I didn't really want to lane, even though things got better and I had ulti. my shaman was out of mana, so I kind of had to make a decision here. I had to say like, okay, do I keep laning or do I go jungle? And I made the decision. This was actually really advanced. I couldn't believe I thought of this in the moment, but I sent a tree in to actually go drag the wave here. So you'll see I send one tree in here. So I'm microing that, and I wanted to go farm the camp. And this is huge because instead of the wave staticking here, I could just go drag it and farm it in front of my tower. Really easy. Unfortunately, this camp was stacked, which means I couldn't kill it. I don't even know why I tried. That was just honestly stupid. I just suicided my treants. But either way, I was able to drag the wave here. I made a bit of a mistake. I honestly wish I dragged the wave around and then staticked it. Like literally, I wish I just staticked it because there's nothing to farm. Like this camp's currently dead. This one's dead. I can't farm this, which Quap's farming it now, which is hype because then I can farm it later on if the time comes. But yeah, I'm just able to keep the wave back. So also by not instantly killing this wave, it means that I will get the next wave as well in a very safe location. So even if Treant's set up, which he sort of is, he's in the area, definitely if I was to push up to here, he would absolutely wrap on me. So this small decision completely changes how this lane's gonna look for the next minute to 2 minutes, which is kind of the type of thing you need to be able to do consistently, like plays like this consistently if you want to get to a high level like this. It's just how it is, and people don't really see that. Either way, at this point in the game, Eternal Envy, my favorite carry player, TP'd to the top lane to take the tower, which I thought was a great rotation by him. We had some information that the enemy team wasn't able to respond due to a mid play that was going on from our Quap who owned this game, and we get the tower. Now, my next decision is one that I've been making a lot more, and I honestly am happy to make it. Anytime the safe laner comes and takes the top tower, I don't like staying in the area, frankly. It just doesn't feel very good, especially when I'm playing a hero like Nature's Prophet. I really like to go to the opposite side of the map. Now, I will say I made a mistake here. I should have just regular TP'd. And the reason why is you don't want to use your teleport ability first. You always want to TP areas if you can, like regular TP. Because then, yes, it does cost gold, which kind of sucks. But the thing is, like, having the option to TP somewhere else or anywhere else is very valuable. So you do have to keep that in mind. But either way, I TP bottom here, and this was really nice. Because of the pressure we put on top, that wave is fully shoved in. Drow can just comfortably farm the triangle, which is totally fine for the Drow, right? So she's getting, I would say, pretty close to optimal farm. I'm getting the shove in the bot lane, and all I need to do is sort of read the gank that's pretty inevitable on Prophet. Your hero dies very easily, guys, right? A lot of people don't understand this. It's why they feed us this hero. You die easily, okay? You have to, when you are going to play a dangerous area of the map, like the bottom side of the map, that can be easily collapsed upon by the mid laner, you have to read the movements, pay attention. So like when this Willow shifts over, I'm like, okay, the gank's probably coming. I get a little bit of vision of Pango, and now I'm just gonna chill, right? I'm not gonna push up. I'm just gonna let my treants clear the wave. I'm not gonna show at all. I'm not gonna take any risks of getting gone on by Willow. Instead, I actually TP mid and look to pressure in the mid tower. On top of that, because of this TP, I'm able to spawn treants on mid tower. Now, I don't generally push towers. Just to be clear, guys, on average, I put a massive priority on farming for the first 13 minutes-ish for Prophet. Why? Because that's what it takes if you are farming efficiently enough to get Orchid. Now, my early game was kind of shitty, so my Orchid timing was, delayed, obviously. But the big thing to understand is, number one, my Drow was making the call, classic EE, making calls, so he wanted the pressure mid-tower. It's on a cart wave, and I had treants coming up, and so I knew I had everything I needed to siege this tower. On top of that, if a fight happens to break out, even though I didn't want to take a fight, as you can see, when the enemy team responds, I'm not really going to commit to this. I even think I, frankly, committed a little bit too hard. I should have just summoned treants and basically ran away, because this is not a position to be. You can even see from the Snapfire TP, it is not particularly hard for Snapfire to, make make a TP, or anyone to make a TP to get on top of you. Either way, it was still a good play, though. It was able to keep this card alive for a really long time, and this is massive. This sequence was massive. Why? It's massive because they have a treant. If we don't put hard pressure, like hard pressure, not slow pressure, hard pressure on this tower, it will not die, and they'll be able to sit behind their mid tower and make a slow but eventual comeback. Shaman was able to go get the tower, which is really nice for the Shaman. So he's able to get the tower, and I'm immediately back to farm. You can see most of the time for this, first 13 minutes, I'm not looking to siege. The only reason why I did it this game is the top push was completely safe. I knew that, right? It was not a guess. I knew that. And then the mid push, They had rotated 3 heroes to bottom, used Pango roll, right? So I knew they had no Pango roll and rotated heroes to bottom, and my Drow made the call. The tower was also low. So, you know, I was working with a teammate. In general, I would be sticking to the bottom side of the map, which is what I do. This is kind of just like this is honestly another TP I don't love to make. Reason why is like, after I shove bottom here, I usually just like to farm through my jungle. I just kind of clear through, get all the cams, work towards my orchid, and then TP in. But this kind of, to me, just seemed like a situation where I could just take this guy out. It was like a very favorable fight. We had already killed the Willow and the Treant. So, you know, this was a number, you know, definitely a numbers advantage. I knew PA was probably just going to be splitting the map. So that was a really nice TP, good kill. I was also able to, you know, take a jungle stack, which I didn't even know they had, but I was able to clear that up and immediately back to splitting the map. And this is why I also do not take my level 10 talent at level 10. Damage talent, fantastic. It's a great talent, but maxing out the teleportation, getting it down to 20 seconds is so incredibly valuable because that 15 seconds difference it's just massive. Like, it's so noticeable. If you're being active around the map and constantly just like looking to move around and stay safe, that 15 seconds is a huge deal. But once again, this was such a good sequence in my opinion. Like, these are the plays that I really feel like are honestly the biggest reason why I've pushed towards 9K so quickly. Because like 7 months ago, I was like 7.6. So like in much less than a year, I've gained like 1.5k MMR, which is difficult in and of itself, and it's high MMR. So it's like generally harder to gain MMR because you're playing against, you know, really sweaty gamers. Like, even now, like, I feel like to get to 10k, I have to literally beat the guys who play this game for a living. I'm like, I don't really know if I want to do that. And like, I kind of play this game for a living, but not really. Either way, this is a good play because the main thing here is I have the discipline to just say, okay, once again, the enemy team doesn't have a very clear play to make on the map. They're behind. This PA has a Battle Fury, not even, right? This Pango's underfarmed. The Snap, I think, has no ulti. They don't have a clear play to make, especially when Snap ulti is down. They kind of don't do enough damage to, you know, to make plays. So in that case, what they have to do is look for someone who is isolated. When you are splitting the map as Prophet in particular, anyone frankly, you're going to be that guy. Now, even here, I think I walk a little bit out of position. I will admit that I don't know why I walked around there. That was just simply stupid, but at least it was not enough to get me killed. In fact, it was enough to actually get this Treant killed, funny enough. But either way, they kind of like commit this role. I end up trying to TP out. What a Tumbler's toy from Pango. That just barely caught me. Kind of crazy. But either way, I think my team was able to TP in and clean up. Yeah. Ended up not being too bad. I will say, though, that that sequence didn't have to go that way. Even here, I will admit, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. This is something I'm even going to learn from making this video, which is like why making videos have made me a better player. And I recommend you guys try to like kind of commentate and make videos about your own replays. If, you know, even if you don't literally record it, it's just so useful because I look at this and I'm like, why am I walking up? Like, this guy's dead. My whole team is mid. I don't really want to force them to TP bottom because we want to play for Roche. Like, that's the main objective. I want my team to play the top side of the map. I'm just kind of like in this area to farm. So this was honestly a bit of a grief. Like, I just shouldn't have walked up. And then if I was going to say, I should have TP'd much earlier because literally it's like, oh my God. Gosh, dang it. That's so sad. Yeah, it is what it is. Pop my wand, pop my sprout, bought as much time as possible. Led into some return kills, so it wasn't like super net negative, but it definitely wasn't fantastic. And just once again here, so you guys can kind of understand, I'm constantly trying to be in the head of the enemy. Like, because I don't really have to think about my own gameplay now, because, you know, I've played so much freaking Dota, I'm spending most of my game theorizing about what the enemy is going to do. I don't have to think about what's most efficient for me. I already know, which is like kind of the levels to getting better. I don't really have to spend any time worrying about like where I should go next, what to farm next, like what item I'm gonna go. Like, I generally already know. Not always, you know, I'm not JC from the Bible, right? Like, I'm not that, but I don't have to think too much. And so this is kind of a great example of that. Like, once again, I'm pushing in top. I kind of make the read that, hey, I'm the guy they're gonna run at. I get this like slight vision of Pango, so I'm already positioned far back as is. Like, I'm not auto-attacking the wave here. I'm like as far back as I can. I kind of see the roll coming, and I'm able to disengage to here, right? And this is huge, because if I get gun on here, I just die. If I get gun on here, my team can easily respond. And you can see that, you know, RTZ understands that. He's like, oh, this could have been a quick kill. Nope, turns around, Orchid on a Treant. That guy just thought, oh no, he actually got his ulti off. My team didn't target him. But yeah, just good turnaround overall. Super nice play. And that turns into a Roche. So really good sequence there as well. On top of that, this this is a good call. So like, this is something I've learned to do. I was watching an official with one of my friends, a really high rank carry player, a close friend of mine, Yamson, and he was helping me out. Basically, like one of the officials I played, my team made this play where we Roached, and then like literally, if we just were paying attention to the enemy team and them coming in towards the pit, if we just fought them instead of Roaching, we'd kill them. And like this is was such a similar situation to what I kind of went over with him, because they have 2 dead heroes. They can't fight. Like this PA doesn't do shit. Right? I mean, he doesn't even have Battle Fury yet. Man, RDC's poor at this game. And to be fair, it's, you know, there's like no space on this map. But the point is that their team is dead. So I knew they also had no Penga roll because they just tried to use it on me top. So the only spell that was a threat is this Snapfire ulti. Now I used my Orchid on Roche to do extra damage, which honestly ended up being stupid because I kind of wish I had it here. Poor Shaman just dies. But either way, it's still a good call, right? We shift out of the pit. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but like, it's just a slight movement. It lets us kill the snap. Now killing this snap is going to give us a 30-second timer on the snap. She's dead. Willow tries to go on me for whatever reason. Obviously, the Willow dies. I don't even need to Orchid her. So Pango dies as well, and we just take Roche. The Drow just kept Roaching, which, you know, even then, I honestly think Drow probably should have just fought with us. But the point being is when you're ahead or when you have a numbers advantage, which is, you know, we both in this scenario, so I guess even better if both. If you have the advantage, be ready to fight. Often I won't chase on the high grounds like this. This is kind of just because like Snapfire is one of those heroes where if you don't run at it, it's just going to destroy your entire team in the pit. So like it's particularly good to run at it if you have the capability. But yeah, it's just something to keep in mind for your pubs, guys. It's a really advanced play, but it's really important. Now you can see once we get the Aegis, look what I do. This was really important. We get the Aegis, I'm just back to farming. A lot of people don't get this. They think like, oh, I have Aegis, I have to go end the game. It's like, no, you don't. In fact, when you have Aegis, it's very unlikely the enemy's gonna fight you, especially when they're all dead. So instead, I just want to split the map, get as many items as possible, right? Get to my BKB timing. This was you know, kind of on the note of fighting, you know, even though I'm not looking to fight here, it's just we had vision, we had a ward on the PA, just good map awareness, had my quap in the area. Kind of messed up here, I ended up dying. Hindsight, I should have ate this sprout tree with the tango. I didn't think it was even going to be close, but, you know, Phantom Assassin, I guess we just missed a ton, and then he got tree and armored. What can you do? I should have ate a tango and strength threads, but, yeah, it is what it is. All right, at this point in the game, honestly, my team didn't really have an initiator, so I knew when I got my BKB, I kind of had to be the guy. Like, we do have this shaman, but he went Aether, so, like, he didn't go, like, the Blink shaman build where sometimes if you're playing shaman, your team has no initiator, you just like buy Blink, Hex, ulti, shackle, and feed, and that can work, but he didn't do that, which is fine. But I get my BKB around the 20-minute mark here, which is a bit late. I like getting it around like 18, 19, even sometimes 17 if I'm owning, or 16. But like, the thing is like, okay, I just TP in here, and the main reason why is like, you have to look at the map and be able to see numbers advantages. This is the key to playing Prophet. People don't understand this, guys. There's two main things as Prophet that you want to abuse. Numbers advantages that you create by split pushing, right? Split pushing, the main advantage of it is not getting the towers, at least not early game for the most part, unless it's like mid-tier 1. It's the pressure, the number advantages you create by summoning treants in the side lanes and buying your shard, which is why I always buy my shard because it creates so much pressure and it's good in team fighting. It's just kind of, in my opinion, a very, very good shard, maybe even broken. But, but the thing is, here I see the Snapfire top, and we have this ward, and my team is shifting in that area. So is it a bit of a dangerous TP? Yes, but I see this Pango. I clicked on him. I'm like, okay, he has Yules, right? So Orchiding him isn't necessarily valuable. My team was in the area, and we did have a Shaman, so I could Orchid him just to buy time for the Hex to go off. Maybe he won't Yules in time, but I get an Orchid onto the Willow, which is definitely solid in and of itself. Tree and block. This is why I love taking the Tree and Summon talent at 15. It's honestly just so good. It's so good for splitting in the map. Even if they have, like, this game it's particularly good because they kind of have a hard time killing treants, kind of. Actually, that's not fully true. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not fully true, but like, a lot of the time, even if they can clear the treants, they're not always gonna be in position to do it. And it's really useful in team fights here because you can see when I summon treants, if you have the treant talent and you just click directly on top of them, it will basically always trap them. This guy probably would have died anyway, but you could see like if he's a little bit tankier or a different target, yeah, you just completely surround them. And treants do a lot of damage. Like, I don't think people realize this, but if you do this like tree and summon thing, I'll often do it just for damage. Like, that's what I was doing it for here, because I didn't see the drow originally, but like each one of these treants hits for like 20, and like 8 of them are gonna hit. So it's basically like an extra auto attack every so often that also surrounds the enemy. But yeah, just keep in mind, I probably wouldn't make that TP if I didn't have BKB. Maybe I would if like I was really confident my team was in position, because like in that case I didn't even need the BKB because, you know, we had a numbers advantage and PA is just split pushing. Either way, at this point in the game, this clip was really funny. Look at this, guys. So my treants coming up in like are coming up in 2 seconds. I summon. I was like, what the fuck? I've never seen that before. That could be some meme. That could be like a Dota WTF clip, and the title's like something along the lines of like, this is not what I thought they meant when they said greater treants, or something. Because that is the greatest treant out of all of them. And you know, apparently you can summon it now. It's really cool. Now moving ahead though, at this point in the game, what I try to do is push in the lane that's the most pushed out, especially the lane that's like really far away from any teammates. I specifically generally play away from my team as much as possible because it amps my farm and doesn't take away from them. You noticed that in the early game, you should notice it now. I'm basically trying to farm in a way that forces the enemy team around the map, gets me farm, and doesn't take away from my teammates. If you can do that, you're going to snowball on this hero really hard. You can see my CS is second highest in the game. Generally, it would even be a bit higher than this, but once again, I had a bit of a bad start. Yeah, now we have every single wave in. Even if the game was like, let's say, playing out more, it's more even. This is like such an advantageous state because literally if we couldn't go high ground and we have all the waves in their base, we just farm the entire map. I would not try to push. I wouldn't even try to siege with treants. I would just go farm this. When you are ahead as Prophet, man, this hero is so nice to play because, like, let's say your team is looking to siege, right? Or let's say your team is like camping this hill. You can just farm triangle. Usually if you try to do that when you're ahead, there's like a chance the enemy team takes a fight and you're not close enough. As Prophet, that's obviously not an issue because of TP. So you just farm like the most inconvenient and far away camps that no one else wants to farm when you're ahead, and the snowball, the net worth lead just completely skyrockets. Like here we're 17k ahead. I don't know what's happening with E. He's going down, but it doesn't matter. Even here, like you can see, kind of on that notion, I was like, I could split push, but I don't have my TP up. This is kind of like an advanced split pushing thing. You basically never want to split push when your regular TP is down. And the reason for that is it just makes it too risky. Because you can't BKB TP out. If you use TP and you don't have this TP, you can't TP out, obviously, right? But it's important to note, like it's obvious, but most people don't think about it. So they end up dying. Either way, I ended up getting gone on here. Had to TP out. Forced an overgrowth with the BKB TP, got out anyway. So this ended up being really favorable. That was really nice. Got the TP out. That's just hitting good timings and, you know, knowing your limits. I knew I could TP out. And the sprout was important as well, but at this point, just constantly making plays around the map, setting up on the Pango, getting that kill, shoving the bottom wave with my ulti. You know, all the creep waves are in, sending treants to bottom. And yeah, this game is a wrap from here on out. Yeah, I think we win in the next like few minutes. But it was an absolute pleasure, guys, to make this video. I love playing this hero. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Just best of luck in your pubs. Keep your head in the game, guys. I know all of you can get to 9K, right? It's just whether or not you're going to be willing to put in the time, put in the effort, and have the mental capability to stay strong in your pubs. Like, you got to be the guy who's just not bringing down the vibe. I'm not saying you can't get mad. I think when people hear this, they get frustrated because they're like, Speed is telling me not to hate my teammates that are running down mid. It's like, I'm not saying that, guys. You think I like most of my teammates in pubs? I would say most people don't say anything. And then, like, the people who do say things, I usually don't like them, okay? But a big reason why I also think I gain a lot of MMR and quickly and consistently, and I do not go on big losing streaks. Like, I think literally the most MMR I've ever lost is like 200 or 300. Literally, like maybe it was 300 recently. That's the most I've ever gone down. And the reason why is like, I'm constantly learning and adapting, but I'm also not playing pubs when I hate my life and when I no, I'm gonna tell my teammates that I despise their guts. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.